So it's been 1.5 months since I initially quit social media. And while there have been a lot of benefits from things like improved focus, emotional regulation, overall just satisfaction with where I'm at in my life, there have also been a few negative things. And I wanted to talk about one thing in specific today. If you decide to go on this journey or this, walk down this path, this is something I would assume you'll come across. When I initially decided to quit social media, I didn't realize the reason that I had become addicted to it in the first place. And when I say social media, I kind of combine news and like binge-worthy television into the same bubble, right? It's like stimulation addiction is really what I'm talking about. And the reason why somebody becomes addicted to something is typically that there is something in our lives that we're running from or struggle with dealing with, and this is sort of like an alleviating thing. It's like taking a drug that alleviates the pain. And for me, after a lot of introspection, I've realized that the reason I gravitated so intensely towards stimulation addiction was because for one, I felt really lonely when I was young, and it gave me this sort of false illusion of not being alone. And having more information made me feel more secure within my life. I felt less afraid and nervous of the world around me. And that particular one is kind of what I want to dive into here. A month and a half in, and I feel incredibly disconnected from the world. Now, I will be honest, over the last week, I have probably once or twice a week, I've gone on YouTube on my TV and watched about a 2-hour or 1-hour long golf video. While I don't quite consider that to be the same type of stimulation, I do understand that is on a platform that is considered social media. So if you want to, be upset about that, you can, but I'm doing this for me, and it's about what works for my brain. And as long as I don't scroll through content, look at comments, or click a bunch of suggested videos that stimulate my brain so intensely, I'm usually okay. So when I'm on the TV and I'm clicking a 1-hour video that's not retention edited and all of that stuff, it doesn't mess with me. It's like watching a long movie, or it's like watching golf on TV. Anyway, I have not scrolled through shorts in over a month and a half. Genuinely, I've not. Even when my girlfriend would do it next to me, I'd look away. Anyway, beyond that, it's isolating. It is. And a few weeks in, I started to feel nervous. I'd mentioned in a prior video that I was on my way to a golf course and I was nervous to go because I had to be paired up with random people, and I was like, well, I don't know, I guess my brain just thought that maybe I was too out of the loop with what's going on in the world and that it would make me feel separate, whatever it is. It was a silly thought, but it's my brain. It's what it does. And obviously I went, and it was great, and I had a great time with the people. And so that thought was then put to the side, and it was replaced by, okay, well, no, that's not true. I still can connect with humans. But I don't know. It's hard to really explain how I'm feeling with a lot of this stuff. Just because it's so... I just feel kind of lost in a haze. Like the world around me, it keeps moving, but for years, for so many years, I absorbed this intense stimulation, and I saw that the world was changing all the time, and that this person was dying and this awful thing was happening. People told me who to be upset with. And for the last month and a half, I look around and everything seems fine. But yet I talk to people and they're like, oh no, this thing happened. This is terrible. This is bad. We need to worry about this. And I'm like, maybe. Maybe we should. Obviously, we should care about what happens to people in the world, but I wasn't helping. It wasn't helping my life. It wasn't helping me be a better person, a nicer person. I don't think it was particularly changing the way that I vote. Maybe a little. Maybe that information was helpful. But it definitely made my life worse. It made me unhappy with who I was. It made me question meaning and purpose, all these things. It felt like I was being told who to be, what to think, what was good, what was wrong. And don't get me wrong, I tried to navigate this. I tried to find some sort of truth from within this haze, within this sort of thing where I'm getting slammed by thoughts and opinions all over the place, every direction, and you look around and it's more opinions and more thoughts and more this is bad, more this is good, more all of this stuff. And suddenly, a month and a half ago when I stopped, it was silent. And for a few weeks it was brutal. So for the first 4 days, actually let me explain the timeline. The first 24 hours were incredibly difficult. Then the next 3 days were good. I felt relief. But then from about day 4 to day 5 to the second or third week, I was depressed. I felt dysregulated. I just felt off, and I couldn't think or focus, and everything was weird. Then I slowly saw the progression and getting better. And then around week 5, I didn't feel bad. I just felt dysregulated. I felt separate. Now that's fading. It's getting better. And now I'm feeling focused. But on what is the confusing part? Because it's unbelievable how the things that I cared about a month and a half ago are completely different than the things I care about now. And so I don't know what all of this means. I don't have a guideline. I'm just sharing my experience. Because, look, I got to the point where I was hating myself because of how I would get hours of work done, and then my phone would come out, and I would be stuck, dude. I would click a video, I would watch it, and I would scroll through it, and I would need information. I would need this stuff to stimulate my mind, and I could meditate for like 15 minutes, but that was it, and it just took over my consciousness. I couldn't get a break from the impulse. Now I finally have it, and I'm so happy about that. That makes me incredibly thrilled, but it hasn't been without difficulty. It's not easy, especially when the whole world around you is kind of in the loop. It's getting better. It's getting better. And I will say I don't have the impulse to go on social media all the time anymore, which is a big deal. It's huge. That went away, honestly, pretty quick. And I will say this, you're obviously going to get the impulse, and if I have any advice for anyone, instead of saying, I can never do it ever, and building up that extreme tension and anxiety in yourself, and then obviously relapsing and then going on a scroll spree, which I had done 100 times prior to when I actually finally quit. Just give yourself a place to do it, right? Say, I can only do this in my living room on my TV. That's the only form of stimulation I'm allowed to have. And in the beginning, allow yourself to binge a TV show, right? Allow yourself to replace that main thing, whatever your main problem is, right? If it's scrolling, if it's checking messages, whatever it is, allow it to be replaced for a while. And then after a while, slowly be like, okay, all right, I'm not going to use the TV today either, right? And then you go on a walk. And maybe you listen to music, maybe a podcast, maybe audiobooks, maybe you need something, right? For a while, take it easy, be gentle. This is a big thing, and I people don't give it the credit it deserves because it's very hard. Allow yourself to change because your neurochemistry is genuinely changing. And again, like I said, it'll take a while. Time will begin to fly. It'll begin to pass so quickly because the days will seem similar. And eventually you'll be a month and a half out, 2 months out, and I don't know how you'll feel, but how I feel is excited. I don't know what for, but the world feels magical again. Things feel more real. My relationships are more important to me. Things get a little scarier at times, which is weird. I didn't expect that. But everything just feels better. I sleep better. I love better. Yeah. I'm not going to read any of the comments. I know I'm on social media. A lot of you are probably confused about that. What I'm doing with this is because I know that the people who are using social media and might need to hear this, I need to post it there. So the only time I'm allowed to go is I have to go to a coffee shop. I have to upload it. I'm not allowed to look at any videos, any analytics, any comments. So if you do want to reach out to me, I'll leave my email. Or no, I was thinking about doing some sort of like a Patreon thing. That way the only time I can, because I don't want to absorb negativity. I just don't. There's no need. The input's very important. I don't need that negativity. So I thought about making a Patreon. I don't want people to have to pay, but it's like a hater isn't going to pay $1 or $5 to say something negative. But if like somebody wants to talk to me, I want to be able to respond. So I'll figure that out. I'll think about it. I might leave an email below because at least it's less likely to get a hater, but we'll see. Yeah, all right, guys.